Peace, love, light, and healing. I'm Naraya, the owner of Iron City Biomechanics, and we help bridge the gap between healthcare and fitness. And this month, we've been talking about one theme, and that's handling hard better. Last week, we talked about handling hard better physically and mentally. This week, we're going to go a little bit deeper because a lot of people aren't breaking down because they're weak. They're breaking down because their emotional health has been running on empty for a long time. And frankly, emotional health isn't a priority for most people. This is something I see constantly as a coach. People don't come in saying, my emotional health is struggling and that's the cause of my chronic pain or the cause of my obesity. They say things like, I'm irritated all the time. So I usually cope with a glass of wine to calm my nerves, or, I don't know why things set me off to where I start just indulging in ice cream and crying over a dramatic movie, or I'm fine, I'm just overwhelmed, this season will pass. And what people don't realize is that that is emotional health, not feelings as a concept, but emotional capacity in real life. Because emotional health isn't being calm all the time, it's being able to feel pressure and still respond with control. But most people are so disconnected with themselves that they have no idea what's happening internally. That's why every time you ask someone how they're doing, 9 times out of the 10, they're going to give you that response, oh, I'm doing good. What does that even mean? Like, good is a variable if you think about it. That doesn't really help the other person that's asking that question. It doesn't give enough information. Here's a story that's more common than people admit. So I used to know this guy who was proud of being, what's the word, low drama. He didn't complain about things. He didn't talk about his feelings. He just handled his business and did all the things that needed to be done. He wasn't a lazy guy, but he definitely only did enough to get by. And so, on the outside, he looked like a steady dude, like he had his things in the world. He was, but what was really happening was he wasn't processing anything and he was absorbing everything. He never released a lot of the things that he had bottled up over the years. His work stress, he just stuffed it down. Relationship tension, he ignored it and dealt with it by really just distracting himself. His family pressure, he just brushed those things off. And then one day, something small happened. A simple disagreement with someone that he cared dearly about. And it turned into a whole blow up and ultimately just damaged a relationship that could have been, could have been stronger. Not because they were bad people, but because pressure had been building for years and neither party ever said anything about it. They never learned how to release in a healthy way. And so hard didn't break them, of lack of emotional regulation did. And so that's a educational moment for all of you guys. A lot of folks think that handling hard better means to be tougher and never let your emotions show. Believe me, I'm a very stoic man and actively practice the teachings of Stoicism. So I understand that idea. But toughness without emotional health turns into reactivity, shutting down, resentment, numbness, stonewalling, and eventually burnout. Emotional health is the difference between reacting automatically and responding intentionally. And the good news, guys, is this is a skill. Believe me, this is a skill, and you can build it too. I built it, you can as well. And so here are the 4 ways to handle hard better emotionally. First, you have to name what you're actually feeling. Most people stop at stress or angry, but those are just umbrellas. Underneath that, or fluff, underneath that might be disappointment, being overwhelmed, anxious, embarrassed, hurt, resentful. When you name it, you reduce its power. And you can go from reaction mode to awareness. So that way you can also better communicate what's going on to other people. Number two is slow down that reaction window. Emotional strength is built in the pause. Before you respond, try to take some slow, deep breaths, have a short walk, wait 5 minutes before texting back. That pause is not weakness. Don't let your ego get in the way. That pause is leadership. Pause is leadership, guys. And so, number three, stop treating suppression like strength. Holding everything in might look mature, but it doesn't make pressure disappear. It just stores it up, like I said earlier. All right. And so talk it out, talk about it, journal it out, pray it out, get counseling, get coaching. Healthy processing is how strong people stay strong. And lastly, number four is just building that emotional recovery in your life. You recover after a hard workout, but do you recover after a hard day? And so ask yourself, like, when do you actually decompress? Like, honestly, who can you be real with? Who can you be transparent with? And like, what things do you do to reset, if anything? And so that's how you get through those hard weeks. And like my favorite parable that really helps paint this picture, brother better talks about, is like those two people that carry heavy packs up a hill. They're going up the same hill, and one person never stops because they see it as weakness. They just keep pushing, knees up, head down, and just keep pushing, but they're breaking their posture, their pace slows down. And then you have that second person that stops occasionally. They set the pack down here and there. They tighten up the straps. They remove what they don't need. Then they keep going. Both are carrying weight. We're all carrying weight, guys. But only one finishes upright. And so that's emotional health. Not pretending that the load isn't heavy at all, but learning how to carry it without letting it crush you. And so if you've been dealing more reactively lately, if you're more tired, if you're easily set off or just not yourself, that doesn't mean that you're broken, all right? It might mean that your emotional capacity is depleted. And so in a depleted system, they don't make great, people who have a depleted system don't make great decisions. But the moment you start building that emotional strength, guess what? Hard won't disappear. If anything, you just start to handle hard better. And if you want the full breakdown of this, go to this week's, go to the website and check it out to read through that. Again, I'm Nariah, owner of Iron City Biomechanics, and this month we're not just talking about being strong. We're talking about building the kind of emotional health that can carry hard seasons, that can carry you in hard seasons without you losing yourself. As always, peace, love, light, and healing.